welcome, one and all. Hello, welcome and good evening. Welcome to, I just kicked something. Welcome to Thursday evening. Thursday evening? Is it Thursday or is it Friday? It's Friday. Oh, Friday evening even. Good God, I don't even know what day it is. Welcome one and all to yet another Master Grade Vercar Sazabi live stream. Although, if you watch Lincoln Wright's video, apparently it's not Vercar, it's VerKA. Or version KA is the correct pronunciation, apparently. Version KA, not Vercar. We've been saying it wrong. So yes, welcome to another prep stream. We still have many parts. I have a small smattering of parts here. If you've not seen one of these before, basically, my current project is the massive Master Grade Sazabi, which is going to be painted up in two styles. Well, in one style, it's going to be painted up in the colour scheme of the Shanghai Dragons Overwatch team, because this is a build for it's a Patreon reward build for my patron George, and he wants it painted in the colours of the mech from Overwatch, played but I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to Overwatch, really. The team Shanghai Dragons, they use the mech with colours. It's going to be in those colours. I've seen one single picture. I've never actually played Overwatch. So it's going to be in their colours. I have some special decals made up. And potentially, I keep saying this, it's not guaranteed yet, I haven't tested it yet. I may also be painting it in those colours, but in a Borderlands style. Kind of not cel-shaded, because it's not really cel-shaded, but that kind of graphic novel watercolour and ink style. So we're gonna see. Might not do that. But yes, this is yet another stream where I'm working on sanding and cleaning up all the parts. I have cleaned all the parts in one of these plastic trays completely. This is a second plastic tray. There's one tray behind me over our off shot that's full of all like this, and it's all sanded and cleaned. We have done this much of this tray, so we've got all this to go. And then once these are done, we have all these as well to do. All the bits in here. Yeah, there's millions. So I've done a few live streams. You guys are just keeping me company for a couple of hours while I crack on with this. This is available to everybody. The one on Wednesday was a Patreon exclusive stream. This one is available to the entire world to watch with all the eye holes on their face. So welcome one and all, ladies and gentle spoons, boys and girls, anything else, dogs and cats, lions and tigers, protozoans and amoebas. Everybody, welcome. If you've not seen one of my live streams before, basically we'll just hang out for 2 hours or so. I'll try and do some work, but in reality what I will do is just sit and talk to you guys in the chat, because like I say, you're just keeping me company. If you want to ask anything, if you're watching this and you can see the chat here, there's the chat here, you'll see. But if you want to join in the chat and do typey, then you need to make sure you're watching this on the YouTubes. If you're watching it, say, embedded on the Patreon page or the Facebook page or in Twitter or somewhere else, wherever I posted it up, if you're watching it embedded and you can't see the bit where you put in your chat, just click on the YouTube icon that's down here in the bottom right-hand corner somewhere, and it will take you to the YouTube page where you can join in the live chat. And you want to join the live chat because A, everybody in there is awesome, and B, I'm going to be giving stickers away later on, as always, as I always do. So you want to make sure you're in the chat to win some stickers. If you want to ask me a question, as always, stick it in the chat, put it in big fat capital letters so I have a chance of seeing it. If you want to, you can do the super chat, which is the little dollar symbol down here at the bottom of the chat window. That does the super chat. Or if you haven't got access to chat at all, you can just send me an email. My email address is always on the screen. It's fox@modelmakingguru. Well, hello, stop. Hang on, swig a drink. We'll try that again. fox@modelmakingguru.com. I don't even know my own URL. Yes, you can send me an email if you want to. I might pick that up during the stream, possibly. Don't forget, of course, we've still got the ongoing stream boss battle, which isn't me. It says Model Making Guru. It's actually Simon Reynolds, who's in chat at the moment, or as we prefer to call him, Kevin, who is the current stream boss. And as always, it's up to you guys to get him down to 0 health. Whoever gets him to 0 health becomes the new stream boss and wins many hundreds of pounds worth of Games Workshop and Forge World kits and equipment. When Simon became stream boss, he had a budget. He won a budget of £500 to order whatever Games Workshop and Forge World kits he chose, and I ordered them for him. Aviad was the stream boss before him, and he won about 300 quid of the stuff. And all you need to do to get his health down is, like we said a minute ago, do a super chat down here. That takes some of his health off. You can put a tip through the tip jar, which is streamlabs.com/modelmakingguru. Or you can, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, you can subscribe and hit the notification bell. That will take a tiny amount of his health off. Now, the more you put through as a tip, or the more you put through as a super chat, the more of his health comes off. And if you get him to 0, you win all the budget, all the money raised by super chats and tips in the tip jar. All that money, it becomes your budget, and you can tell me what you want to order. So get all that going through. But yes, we'll crack on. We'll crack on and do some work. How is everyone? I hope you're all well this very good evening. It's Friday. Hopefully a lot of you have got a day off work tomorrow if it's Saturday. Let's have a quick look at the chat and see who we have in. I can, as far back as I can scroll up, the first person I have in the chat is Pascal, of course. I mean, come on. Although he says he was late, he was working. I know there's chat before that, I just don't see that. Pascal is in. Chris at Grace Models is one of your mods. And Quano Man, the good old Mike lad, is in. Fox is still having a massive week. Now, remember, this isn't a Patreon stream. If you watched the Patreon stream last night, if you're one of my patrons, you will be aware that I did a lot of swearing. Because Patreon streams are for patrons who pay me money with their credit cards and bank accounts. So we're all grown-ups. This is not a Patreon stream. It's open to the entire universe, and it's monetized. So I'm not going to be swearing. And you can swear as much as you want in the chat, but I'm not going to be swearing. So there you go. George is in. Welcome, George. George, for whom the bell tolls, for whom this kit tolls, is in. Gothorm says hello, by the way. Fubits is in. And gives us the Konami code. No, it's up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, BA, select start. I didn't remember select start being on the end there. Have I just opened my own secret menu now? Oh, that sounds painful. Dad is in, another one of your mods. Dad is a lovely, lovely, lovely fella. He looks after everybody. But if you cross him, he'll break your spine. But he's a lovely, lovely fella. He won't really. Who else have we got in? Ghost Lyle is in, says pineapple. I had to read it out. It's what it says there. Look, see? It says it. You can see it there. It says it there. Look, pineapple. We have... who else is in? Lilith Goldson says, hey everyone, super excited to see my favourite modeler in action once again. Thank you very much, Lilith. Welcome. Not seen you in chat before, but welcome to the show. Hope you enjoy it. Who else do we have? Redlen is in. Hi all, I've been in Bristol all week for training, staying in a hotel with crap Wi-Fi. I stayed in a hotel once with Ted. It's probably very similar. I don't know where that came from. Let's have a look. I'm alright, Ted doesn't watch my stuff. Lord Barkley III, evening chaps. Welcome, Lord Barkley. Evening father, he says to Dad, and then when the music started, he said, "Ooh, time for words and pictures." Do words and pictures. They used to scare me. Wordy used to scare the living crap out of me when I was a kid. Muha is in. Good evening all. Welcome, Muha. Adam Clark is in. Sprue Glue Addict, Robots in Disguise. Shut up. We don't do that nonsense here. You know that. Ateris, hey Fox chat, how are we all today? Welcome, Ateris. Shall I just write your name on the back of some stickers now? We have Cy Reynolds, or our Lord and Saviour Kevin is in. Of course Kevin is. Hello minions, and hey Dad. I like the way Dad doesn't count as a minion. Dad, take comfort in that. Just make sure my lights are on properly. I think they are. Yes, jolly good. Just adjusting the little buttons. We have Tom Rickliffs. Hello all. Welcome, Tom. I know you couldn't make it the night, so welcome. Pascal says yes. I don't know why. He just says yes. So yes, pretty much. Spruglu says gross. Or to Chris in chat. Gross models. I couldn't sleep last night. I started watching your R2D2 build. Got to 89. What happened to part 1 to 34? He probably ate them. They'll be the secret ones you're not allowed to watch. Quanoman says Patreon has awesome Tourette's Fox style. Yes, if you're a patron, it is fun to watch me do a Patreon exclusive live stream because they're not monetized, because they're advert free, because patrons don't have to sit and suffer through adverts. They are advert free, so they're not monetized, so I can swear like a navvy, and it doesn't matter because I'm not going to get a thing saying your video is not suitable for advertisers, because there's no adverts on them, so I don't care. So I can swear, and I was getting all my swear words out at the start and the end. The dramatic reading of chats is trippy. Did you just confirm that Ted is a 56k modem Fox? Yeah, don't ask me about his baud rate though. It's probably not, you know, yeah. Yeah. Ted, where Ted was born, he came with an AOL disc. The half-site says, we know you hate the Transformer. Oh. I'll read this carefully. The half-site says, we know that you hate... We know that you hate... I'm trying to read it. We know that you hate Transformers. But would you ever get one of the Flame Toys TF models? I've heard they are mixed between HG and MG in complexity. Well, it depends. If it's one of the modern Transformers, like the Michael Bay ones, then no, because they have no interest. There's nothing about those Michael Bay Transformers pleases me aesthetically at all. There's just nothing interesting to look at them. They're just like, eh. One of the classic Transformers, maybe, I don't know. If I'd paint it up and weather it, of course. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's an ongoing joke that I hate Transformers. I don't hate Transformers. I just have no interest in them. I don't hate them at all. I just have no interest in Transformers. I didn't enjoy the cartoon series when I was a kid. They don't interest me now. So, but yeah, you never know. I wouldn't say ever no. It's not even real words, Fox. Lynn Dipple, hey Lynn. Jodie just popping in while at lunch. Excellent. Who's Jodie? Cy Reynolds, does he make the noise before drinking his morning coffee? Oh yes. And if you mean morning coffee, you mean morning gin, then yes. He starts morning gin followed by afternoon lunch gin, and then of course late afternoon tea time gin, and then of course gin for dinner, and then dinner gin and supper time gin. Dad says, Ghost Lyle says, pineapple. Dad says, let's get it out of the way then. What's on your bench and what's in your belly? So come on, it's the question we always have to ask. What's on your bench? What are you working on right now at this exact moment, if anything? And what have you either had for your dinner, or what are you going to have for your dinner, or what are you having for your supper or your breakfast, depending on what time it is in the part of the world in which you are in. That doesn't make sense. The half-site says they are based on the comic designs. The comic came after the animated series. Do you mean on the animated, like in the cartoon? In that case, like the classic Transformers, not the Michael Bay nonsense. See, the problem with Michael Bay Transformers is because I don't hate Transformers, just have no interest in them. The classic ones are classic ones. They're classic. You can't deny them. You know, Optimus Prime and all the others. They're classic. The modern ones, the Michael Bay ones, they suffer from. And I remember I had a rant about this the other day when we talked about modern movies. They suffer from the same problem as modern movies. There's too much going on. There's just it's just a constant mess of tubes and pipes, and it's just visually tiring to look at, and they have no character. If you showed me a photograph of a classic Transformer, I could probably tell you, I could say, well, that's Bumblebee, and that's Optimus Prime, and that's the one that becomes a boombox, and that's the one that turns into whatever. You show me a modern Transformer now, I'd be like, it's just a mess. Let's have a look and see what people are doing. Just popping in, not Jodie. Stupid autocorrect. Yes. Well, no, hello to Jodie as well. Ghost Lyle is working on a Space Marine Doctor Boy, and I hunger, he says. I hunger. For some reason, I've got you saying that in the voice of a super mutant. I'm so hungry. Here, human. Yes, I love super mutants. So he's obviously, he hungers. You need to provide for your hunger. You need to apply foodstuffs to your face hole, your mouth hole on your face area. Cy Randall says, soon to be burgers. Oh yes, I've never had a soon to be burger. I've had a used to be a burger. Soon to be burgers and a couple of Imperial fists waiting on funds for Sazabi stuff for the group build. Yes. A terrorist is working on a Redemptor Dreadnought and char siu pork and rice. Oh, char siu. George Gabriel's working on a Master Grade H2 Magnum still. He was last night. And he just ate salmon and wild rice. Ooh, sounds nice. What did you have on the salmon? Was it just salmon and rice? Or was it salmon with a drizzle of lemon perhaps? And some little herby things and some little taste areas? Or was it just rice and salmon? Sprue says, pizza in the belly, and he's got a plane on his bench. He's got a plane with an X next to it. I don't know what that means. He's obviously got a plane of some sort on his bench. I had pizza in my belly. I gave him the pizza. I don't know if you remember, I said the pizza house around the corner that's reopened has gone out of favour with me because their pizza are a bit rubbish. I gave him a second chance tonight and I tried a doner kebab pizza. It was not It tasted nice. They did it again though. It was like a really nice. It was this time a nice fluffy pizza with big thick stuffed crust, but there was not the massive amount of doner meat you thought on the pizza. It was a few bits. So yeah, it was all right. It was just they're still not my good books. Lynn says nothing on bench. Nothing. Oh, I'll start that again. Lynn Dipple says nothing. No bench. She's just moved into a new house. She's not set up yet. How's the new house going, by the way, Lynn? Are you still getting things out of boxes? So she's not set a bench up yet. And she said PBJ and Cheetos Dr. Pepper. Wow, that's that healthy lifestyle there, Lynn. Peanut butter jelly sandwiches and Cheetos and Dr. Pepper. That's my kind of diet. Good girl. Yes, I assume that's a hasty, I can't be bothered cooking kind of snacky dinner. I do that sometimes. I am happy to admit, I will freely admit, there are days when, if I'm just cooking for myself, I really can't be bothered, and I will just go and open a tin of beans or a tin of spaghetti hoops and just eat them because I'm not really hungry. And I do go, I occasionally have a day where I'm just not hungry all day. I won't eat because I'm like, not really hungry today. But I might open like a can of spaghetti hoops and go, whatever, gone. I did try a can of Heinz macaroni cheese once. I wouldn't recommend that cold from the tin. That doesn't really work. Tom Rickliff says 5-spice salmon with broccoli for dinner in a bit. Ooh, and undisorganising the hobby room. There's too many negatives. Lilith Goldston has nearly finished a 1/100 scale barbart blah blah. Focus, Fox. Too much energy. I've just had pizza. I'm on a sugar high. Too much energy. Calm down. Right. Start that again. Lilith Goldston says nearly finished a 1/100th Barbados lupus or Barbados lupus in rather girly colours. This is not a problem. I'm going to guess that's the 1/100, not master grade, but you know what I mean. The RE100. And I yet have to top up my tum. Need snacks. Always have snacks available. Pascal has had a homemade pizza, and he correctly tells us what's on the pizza. Now, Sprue Glue, you should know by now, you can't just say pizza, you have to say what's on it. It's like saying I had a curry. What kind of curry? So, yes, take a note, Sprue Glue. Pascal correctly tells us he had cheese, tomato, paprika and mushrooms, and he's still sanding the Sazabi. Daniel Smith says, hi all, welcome Daniel. Belly is a fry-up on the bench, that bloody RG Sazabi still in one of the flame toys Optimus Primes, actually. Hence the asking. Ghost Lyle, no, he's found out my secret. Lord Barkley III is working on a 40k Rhino. This is a Gunpla stream and everybody's doing Warhammer. And yet when I'm doing a Warhammer stream, everybody's doing like Gunpla. I don't know how this works. 40k Rhino and Ambrosia Rice Pudding. Oh, hot, he says hot as well. Ambrosia Rice Pudding. Have you put on it a big dod of golden syrup? Oh, that would be just, now I really want Ambrosia Rice Pudding and golden syrup. Or maple syrup if you have it. The half-site says, haha, yeah, not the exploded scrap pile Bayformers. The modern comic designs are more like a mix of the TF and Gundam. Okay, I shall have a look. Quanaman says the bench has the first of his Mike Lane mods on it. Okay. He's doing the DeLorean, the big partwork DeLorean. Because he says the bench has the first of his Mike Lane mods on it. I don't know what a Mike Lane mod is, but he's chuffed to bits now. He's got all 5 of the number plates for the DeLorean. Cool. Dave Butcher that model. Welcome, Dave. He's finished the Engine of the Gods. Now there is a Skeleton Warriors on the bench and KFC in the belly. Ooh, yes. And Lynn says the house is going good. Still working on it. As for lunch, it's fast to fix and I can eat it in 20 minutes for lunch at work. There you go. Nice one. Right. Swig of orange juice. You'll note I've not got the enormous cup of happiness with tea or coffee in it because I've had like 3 teas of that size and enormous coffee this morning. I can't drink that much caffeine in one day. I would actually just die of exploding. So, yes. So what we're going to do today is just carry on sanding. I've got, basically, if you've not seen the previous episodes, this will be, because it's a Patreon build, when it gets to actually building and painting, it will become a Patreon exclusive video build series. It'll be pre-recorded like a normal video build series, but it will be a Patreon exclusive series. However, while I'm still sanding, I'm doing these as live streams, just occasionally, and I'm splitting them between available to everybody and Patreon only. So the last one for this week we're doing for everybody. That looks like a cockpit canopy. I like it. It's like a canopy cover. Or it's like the top half of a Zoid. So imagine the canopy's here And then you've got like the jaggedy T-Rex teeth there. So it's like, yeet, you put the little man in there. I'll shut up now. So anyway, yes. So while we're still doing sanding and denubbing, I'm just doing these live streams. And it's really just, it's a way to get me at the bench and having company while I'm doing it. Because you've got to be honest, I am so looking forward to painting this. I'm going to love building and painting this because it's going to be a fantastic fun to paint. But this stage, the sanding and the nubbing, I've always been honest and said I am not a builder. I do not enjoy the build. Well, when it comes to Gunpla, I do enjoy the build because they're easy. But when it comes to proper models, like, you know, proper glue models, I don't enjoy the build process because it doesn't interest me. My focus is the painting and the weathering. So, although the build for a Gunpla can be quite good fun, this part of the process, the cleanup, the sanding and the denubbing, has no interest for me whatsoever. It's the most tedious, boring part of any build. And on something this size with this many parts, yeah. So I am sorely glad of the company. So we'll just get these sanded down a little bit. So I hope you're all well. I hope you've all had a good day today. Little bit damp here today in the north of the UK, the north of England. It's quite pleasant though. I've got the hiccups, I do apologise. It's a little bit damp but warm. So I've got my shorts on. I know, I've got shorts on. I've got me, well, because I've been putting on a little bit of weight recently, I'm not wearing a t-shirt. I've got a short sleeve shirt because it's one of the few things I can actually wear that fits. So, yeah, I need to go to Matalan and buy myself a whole mess of very cheap, very large t-shirts. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, Guthorm. I just prodded him in the entire face. Sponged him in the face with my sanding stick. Well, if you will sit there while he likes to read the chat, you see, he likes to keep you guys company, and he likes to put. He's a mod. Guthorm's a mod. If you misbehave in the chat, Guthorm comes and kicks your ass. He doesn't really, because he's a stuffed toy, but there you go. Baneblade on the bench. Oh, Dad, you need to tell me all the details about your Baneblade. I need to vicariously live through you. Because it's one of my dream Warhammers is the Baneblade. Well, one of my dream Warhammers is that Games Workshop decide to make the entire range of Death Core of Krieg in plastic. That will be my dream Warhammers. But until such of a time, or until they start making plastic Titans, I mean Titan-sized Titans, yeah, Baneblade is my dream. I will get one, just not at the moment. So Dad, you can tell me all about your Baneblade. Tell me all the details, every single thing. Oh, he's got LED. He's putting LEDs in it as well. Oh, Dad's doing the elastic trickery. Oh, I don't understand elastic trickery. I really don't. People say to me, "Do you do lighting?" And I'm like, "No." Do I do lighting? If a kit comes with a lighting kit already assembled, like the Perfect Grey Millennium Falcon, then I am perfectly capable of slotting a wire through hole A and round tab B. If a kit doesn't come with any kind of lighting rig and you're expected to make your own, it doesn't get lit. That's how my lighting works. I have no knowledge of elastic. No, that's not the word. Electricity. And I'll tell you why I have no knowledge of electricity. Because my education, my physics education at school was terrible. I blame it on my secondary school physics, 1980s physics education curriculum. Because, here we go. I've said this before. It's time. I'm going on a rant, folks. Are you ready? Activate rant. When I was in secondary school in the 1980s, you know, in the days, it was just after colour appeared. Everything started becoming colour. We had, our science wasn't just science. We didn't have a lesson called science. We had 3 separate lessons. We had science, chemistry and biology. That was our 3, no, science. We had physics, chemistry and biology. That was our science curriculum. And when I was younger, I had a passing interest in, I knew that physics kind of sounded interesting before I went to secondary school. Chemistry, I had no interest in, and biology was kind of fascinating. So I was intrigued, and then I got to school. Biology was all right. It was all right. It was very top level. You know, we learnt about the cell and the reproduction. Obviously, you learn about that. And we dissected a frog, and we had to try and dissect a bullseye without pinging it across the room, which was hilarious. And all that kind of bits and bobs. But physics, when I was, 12, 13, I had physics up until the 5th form. So 5 years. First year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year. This was in the days when it was 1st to 5th form. When you were 16, you could leave if you wanted to after 5th year. You could leave, and if you wanted to, and go and get a job or go and get college, you could just leave. Or you could stay, because my school also did A-levels as well. You could stay in the same school and then do 6th form, which was basically year 6 and year 7. You would do your study for A-levels when you're in 2 years later. So some people stayed on and did the study for their A-levels. Some people went off to college instead, and some people just went off and got jobs, or just went off and lived on the dole, or whatever. But I didn't do physics at A-level, but I did physics up to GCSE, so 1st to 5th year. So there's me. I'm 13 years old. I'm at big school now. For the first time in my life, I've got like a school tie and a school uniform and a school blazer. And yes, our school technically did have school caps, although nobody actually wore them, but you could buy a school cap for my school. It was a grammar school. So yeah, we had, went in there thinking, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to learn all about physics, because I'd seen, Cosmos when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, science is brilliant. And in physics, we learnt how to make, we learnt the very basic principles of Newton's fundamental laws. Basically, we learnt them. We learnt how to make a circuit, how a circuit works, how electricity works. So we learnt about electricity, but in terms of physics. So, electrons, protons, real basic stuff. And we had to build little circuits, and we had to, we had a Van de Graaff generator. But the problem was, it was in no way interesting at all. I used to dread with every fibre of my being when I knew you'd sit there, you'd come into class for a physics lesson, and on the desks would be that you'd have this little wooden circuit, like you get now. You get a breadboard for making your circuits. In those days, you had a little wooden board with little pegs, and you'd have big thick wire that you'd wrap round a little metal, almost like Meccano, but in 2 dimensions. You'd build a circuit of metal strips and then a bulb. And I dread those days, because it was so boring. And basically, I just switched off. I had no interest in how to make a circuit. I wanted to know about black holes and quantum physics and stuff. I didn't understand any of them, but I wanted to learn, and I never did. And consequently, basically, I switched off throughout my entire secondary school physics career, and therefore learned nothing at all about elastic trickery, circuits, wiring, anything like that. I used to dread exams where they say, draw a circuit diagram. Oh. So yeah, I know nothing of electricity. I can barely wire a plug. I can if I've got a guide. If I look it up on the internet, I can wire a plug up. So I can barely wire a plug. And I blame it all on 1980s education in the north of England. There you go. Because nowadays, now I'm an old man. I've learnt more about physics in the 30 years since I left secondary school, just by osmosis, just by, watching science documentaries and watching Horizon, and through, the educating efforts of people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Professor Brian Cox and other science educators. I've learnt about, because I love to watch things like Horizon, I hate maths, but I'll actually quite happily sit and watch a programme with Jim Al-Khalili doing his, because he does maths sometimes as well as physics, Jim Al-Khalili, or with Marcus, what's his called, DeSotoid maths person, or that lovely, lovely lady whose name I can't remember, who's got the red hair and she's dead mesmerising and she does maths and she's fantastic and I love her. Then again, I love Dr. Alice Roberts as well. So, but so I'll quite happily now sit and watch factual science programming, because it fascinates me and I'm learning so much. I always say, if I've been taught that at school, if they taught even just basic quantum physics at school, I would have been a physicist. I would have been a scientist or a cosmologist or something by now. I would have been presenting BBC telly programmes. So, yeah. Although I would have had to learn maths, and maths was my arch nemesis. I never enjoyed an episode. I never enjoyed a maths lesson at all, ever. I hate maths with a vengeance. It makes me sweat even to this day. Oh, I hate maths. I'm not maths oriented. Some people have a maths brain, and some people don't. And I think I'm the don't side of the argument. I really do not have any ability for maths at all. Although if I watch like a program, a maths, like an episode of Horizon that's about, say, probability or statistics or something, bizarrely, if the presenter is interesting and makes it interesting to watch, I can take it in. So I think, again, it all falls down to, I think when I was being taught maths at school, it was just too boring. It was, here's a maths book, look at the maths book, look at the thing it tells you to do, here's how you do it, now go and do it. Boring. Where, you know, if my maths teacher had been Marcus de Sotoy, or that woman with the mesmerising red hair, and the woman I can't remember, she's on the BBC, she does presenting things. I can't remember her name. Anyway, yeah, she. Oh, Lynn's off, I think. Take care, Lynn. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, if it was her, or just if my maths teachers had been interesting, I might have not hated maths. I might have paid attention, but yeah. So take note, anyone that's thinking about becoming a teacher. Just make sure it's interesting. You make things interesting. Just from my own experience, there's three types of kids. There's the kids that will pay attention because they're interested in what you're telling them anyway. There's the kids that don't care and never will, and they're lost to you right from the start. There's no point trying. And then there's the kids who you've got a chance to snag their interest, but you have to snag their interest. The driest of subject can be taught to somebody if you make it interesting. That's not bad. As before, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm not holding these up to you guys in the camera. I'm holding them up to the light. They just happen to be up here. So, yeah, so if you make even the most dry and banal subject interesting, or present it in an interesting way, people will listen. Let's have a look. Right, what's chat doing? Lilith Goldson says, gorgeous day here in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. That puffin will be right at home here. There you go. What about this one? Let's not. I don't have Odo on screen because he's too big and I can't fit him in. But of course, Odo does sit and watch over proceedings sometimes when I can fit him in. Ooh. Dad says about his. I need to wipe my nose. I've got the sniffly nose. Dad says about his Bane blade. He says lots of bits and loads of extra screws thanks to you. Fitting tons of magnets everywhere to interchange the Dakar. Good girl. Okay, Tom is asking Chris about his Hoth diorama. Fox is Odo sleeping. He's not on the show today. Hi, Gothorm. Oh, well, I've just answered that. Yes, Odo doesn't fit on the desk when I film it from above, sadly. So he hangs out down below and plays with the dust bunnies. Physics is lots of math, says Tom Rickliffs. I know this now. But that's the thing. If I'd been interested in physics, I probably would have by proxy learned the maths anyway. If my physics teachers had made me captivated by the physics, I would have been motivated to learn the maths. But because neither the maths nor the physics were presented in any way, shape of it, in any kind of an interesting way, I was not compelled to learn either of them. Ghost Lyle said, the dog has eaten my sandwich. This does not bring joy. This is terrible, but the dog is still a very good boy or girl. Even if it's eaten the sandwich, it's still a good boy. Still a good dog. Oops. Is that bit done? Those are the days, the 1980s, says Lord Barclay. Yes. Physics, maths, no good for me, says Lynn, even though I really, really want to learn it. Chris says, I'm actually a qualified electrician. Well, I have a GCSE in electronics. I didn't know that. Retro Rabbit Studios, welcome Retro Rabbit Studios. I'm a mechanical and electronics engineer. I feel your pain. Yeah, if it's just, it all comes down to if they'd made the teaching interesting, I would have learned. Lynn loves watching science shows too. Sprugly says, Fox, can you check in your wardrobe to see if Gross Model's R2-D2 build episode 1 to 34 are in there with the Falcon? No, but I did find Jimmy Hoffa and possibly Glenn Miller, but I'm not sure. But the problem is, to understand physics the way they do, explain it to a TV audience, says Tom, they have to have deep understanding based on all the boring stuff that lays the basics. I don't understand. I appreciate that. But they could have at least... The difficulty was that we just got shown real boring, simple stuff, nothing interesting. And at no point did the physics teachers say, I know this is boring, but for this lesson, we're going to go off the beaten path and I'm going to talk to you about something cool. Let's talk about the physics of a black hole, or let's talk about... They could have just gone off the beaten path and given us a hint of what lay beyond the tedium of the next 5 years, but they never did. They just said, today we are going to learn about resistance and making a circuit using a bulb and 3 of these metal things and a small 9-volt battery. Do not put the battery on your... You've already put the battery on your tongue. Okay. And it was just that for like 5 years. It was like, oh... They never even suggested anything more interesting. Only when I left school and started watching telly and I was like, oh, you mean there's things like physics can be interesting? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this was the 1980s. This was the absolute epicenter of the protect and survive era, where everybody lived in fear of nuclear war with Russia, and this was the absolute center of the when the wind blows and that kind of. This was like, when I was a kid, we used to hear the air raid siren being tested every other. I think it was every like 6 weeks. There's an air raid siren like nearby in a factory somewhere. We'd hear that tested every few weeks, just for a few minutes, and it'd be like, this would have been a perfect time to use physics to show how a nuclear bomb would actually work. It would have terrified us, but it would have captivated our imagination. But they never did. They said, we're going to now put this bulb with a 2-volt resistor, 2-ohm resistor, and if you do the calculation with ohms and boring. Which was really weird because the physics teacher himself was kind of a cool guy. He was a bit of a hippie, and he had a camper van with 2 big dogs in it in the car park, and he was awesome. But it was really boring. Dad says, my son has a degree in physics and my daughter has one in chemistry. Both get their brains from the mum. Yeah, if I had kids, they wouldn't get any brains from me. Chris explains to Sprugger that the reason there's no episodes 1 to 32 for the R2-D2 is that he wasn't filming stuff back in them days. Retro Rabbit Studio says, I keep calculus, physics and material properties textbooks on my desk at all times as I don't remember how to do 90% of what I'm supposed to, lol. Snowman is in and Alex is in. Hey Alex, we know who you are. Hey Alex, how you doing, buddy? Let's have a look. Snowman, did I say Snowman? Snowman's in. Scott Sutherland is in. Welcome, Scott. Any 90s kids in here? I'm an 80s kid. I was an 80s. Well, I was a 70. When you say kid, are we talking like from 0 to 10 or from 10 to 20? Because if it's 0 to 10, I'm a 70s child. That's even worse. Oh. Angus Allett says, your teacher may not have known about black holes, etc. Just the syllabus, probably wanted to be an accountant or something. Yeah, he probably did. A little bit. And I'll tell you for why he may have known. And here's a strange thing to say, but one of the teachers in our school, my biology teacher, was disgraced and shamed television weatherman Fred Talbot when he was a teacher. He was a biology teacher, and he was into astronomy and all that. So he would have hung out with the teachers, and they would have talked about that stuff. So he may have known about that. But it would have been cool if my physics teacher had been into like cosmology, because surely he would have at least watched Cosmos. Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine having Carl Sagan as your tutor at university? If you back in the day, being at college, university, and having him as your lecturer. Oh God, that would have been incredible. Sprugler says, my science teacher was an alcoholic who just talked about Everton Football Club. Yeah, that's kind of worse than ours then. Retro Rabbit says, 1. Assume a vacuum. A custodian tosses tennis balls off the roof of a school at 13 FT off the ground. 13 feet even, FT. Idiot. 13 feet off the ground. What is the maximum distance the custodian can throw the ball? That depends on gravity. You have to do a gravity versus mass. And no, that's maths. Can't do that. Retro Rabbit says, a 0 custodian is dead. Vacuum. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Scott Sutherland said he was weirdly good at maths despite being dyslexic. Ghost Lyle says, my teacher was from Paisley, the junkie capital of Scotland. Oh dear. Quano Man says, the air raid siren thingy went off by accident in my hometown when I was about 4. Everyone pooped themselves and I found it as funny as hell. Cy Reynolds, I'm a 90s kid, born in 87. Born in 87? In 1987, I had 3 years left of secondary school. I was in like the lower 6th. I was just starting to study for A-levels. Oh God, I'm old. David Butch, that model, says, we did not learn a lot in physics at school. Our teacher was 6 foot blonde and early 20s with legs on the legs. Or legs over the legs, he says. Yeah, so you didn't learn because of the obvious reasons. My deputy head used to loan cigarettes off us, says Snowman. Yeah. Chill granddad, says Simon Reynolds. Yes, I'm a 70s child. If you consider child to be between 0 to 10, that's your childhood, then I was a 70s kid. So I was proper Findus crispy pancakes, Ted Heath blackouts, power cuts, that kind of era. I was before Thatcher. Wilson, Heath. What else did we do in the 70s? Everybody had moustaches. Even the women had moustaches in the 1970s. Ascension Industries pops in, says, hey kids, just popping in while on break. Welcome, Ascension Industries. Hope you're enjoying your break. Is it a little break, like a quick pop outside for a cigarette or a coffee, or is it a lunch break where you can actually hang around? Alex Otto says, oh, lol, gotta love the legs. We had a French teacher like that. We had a male French teacher for a long time. A couple of them. And then for about 6 months, we had like a placement French teacher. A French lady came in and actually taught us French for about 6 months. And oh my, yeah, the entire class didn't learn anything for that 6 months because she was very, very pretty and had a soft, very delicate French accent. It was like, yeah, nothing went in for about nothing was learned for about 6 months. She was, as they say, very easy on the eye. So a room full of teenage boys, all about 14 or 15, and you present them with a very, very attractive 20-something French teacher. Yeah, that wasn't a wise move. Everybody's GCSEs suffered, I think, as a result. Yeah. Angus says, yes, I was a 70s kid too. Bad haircuts, skivvies, and short shorts. Yeah. I had a Bionic Man. I remember I had a Bionic Man t-shirt. I remember two items of clothing. I had a t-shirt with like a desert scene on it. So like sort of a sunset sky and some cactuses and things. Don't know what that was about. And I had a Bionic Man t-shirt. We're going to win the Premiership next season. Oh, talk about football. I don't do football. You're welcome to talk about football in the chat, but I don't do football, so I won't know what you're talking about. I shall leave you to your conversations of sporty kick of sports ball. Any more nubbage? Nubbage denied. Apart from those little bits there. I just missed the 70s, says Snowman. Anything else happening in chat? Gotta cook burgers. Be right back, says Cy Reynolds. Cook those burgers. Cook me 1 too, please, Cy, says William Rayborn. Hey, William. Retro Rabbit Shooter says, question, do you keep the needles in your airbrush when they're not in use? Yeah, my airbrush is here and it just sits on a hook. Needles in there. There's no reason at all to take it out ever, apart from to clean it or to change it around to a different needle. no reason at all to leave it outside. If you leave it out the airbrush, the more times you take it out the airbrush, the more chance you have of dinging the end or damaging the nozzle. I just leave this connected up. If I want to spray, all I do is literally turn on the compressor, paint, clean it out probably, and then just put it back in. Everything's set up, ready to roll. The only thing to watch for with airbrushes, if you don't use them for a while, sometimes the trigger or either the trigger or the button might get suddenly sticky. If it's been like a few weeks and you suddenly find, oh, it's really sticky, don't panic. It's usually just, I found that airbrush cleaning fluid can sometimes, if you leave any on a trigger brush around the trigger mechanism, or on a button brush around the base of the button, the bit where it goes into the body, it can just kind of get a bit sticky. So if you ever go back to your brush after a couple of weeks and you're like, oh, it's really mingy sticky, just clean it down. Just get some alcohol or some airbrush cleaner and just give it a bit of a wipe. It's just gunk. It's nothing bad. But no, there really is no reason at all to ever take your needle out your airbrush apart from when you clean it. You should really minimise how often you even handle the needle. Tom Rickliff said, I would count the times if one was pubescent as growing up. Okay. Senja says, caught in a storm, bye guys. Whoa, okay. I hope that's not like you're on a boat or something. You're not like a crabbing boat or something. You've been caught. I just mean like you're walking back to the office and you've just got, wet through. Bent my needle the other day, had to get a new one, says Dad. I've been through so many needles. Yeah. There's definitely a football conversation going on. The Snowman says, I'm about to have strawberries and chocolate dip. Ooh. That sounds very nice. Very, very nice. These strawberries and chocolate dip. Yes, I'm ever so grateful of you. Even though it's only a couple of hours, I'm so ever so grateful for your company while I'm doing this. Because like I said earlier on, I'm not a builder, I'm a painter and a weatherer. And like I say, building Gumpler is not a challenge. It's not building Gumpler when you're actually building the Gumpler is not a chore, because that's fun. They go together so nicely. That is fun, but it's this bit is so tedious. Nobody enjoys this bit. Jamie Bone says, "Hi everyone," and yay Odo. That's not Odo. That's Guthorm. Odo's here, unless you saw him earlier on, because he made a brief appearance. I always back my needle off after cleaning it if I know I'm not going to use it for a few days, says Dave. Butch that model. I just leave mine in the airbrush. I've not used my airbrush for about 2 months at the moment. It's just been sitting there. While it's in the airbrush, it's safe and protected. Oh, Jamie I meant Gothorm. Yes, yay, Gothorm. I'm going to keep, if I can get him in shot now for live stream, I might as well have him here. He's like a little mascot. I may as well have him on telly. Sprue Glue says, sorry, I'll stop talking football. No, you're more than welcome. Talk about whatever you want in chat. Don't let me stop you. I won't join in because I don't know anything about football. Remember, you guys are keeping me company. It's entirely up to you what you guys want to talk about in chat. You don't have, when you're in chat with each other, you're not there to talk to me. The chat isn't so you can talk to me. It's so you can all hang out and talk to each other. And I just happen to be able to read it and dip in now and then. The main point of the chat is so you guys can all talk to each other. So if you want to talk about football, you talk about football. You want to talk about, I don't know, whatever you want. Talk about whatever you want. Just no religion and no politics and we'll be fine. Do you do any scribing, Fox? Asked Lilith. It's a technique I would love to start learning. So far, I haven't had occasion to actually scribe new panel lines. Although I have got myself, if I can get it out without destroying the entire desk, I have got myself some Dymo tape, and I do have a scribing tool. Scribing tool! Look at my nice tool. I've got a scribing tool, and I have the Dymo tape. I've never actually had to do any scribing yet. However, in my stash, I do have the Master Grade Gyorodoga. I do have a high grade Kushashatria, and I do have the no grade 160 scale Freedom Gundam. All three of which have kind of bugger all panel line detail on them. So I got this in anticipation that I might want to, maybe do some work. And I was, at one point when I got those, I was also planning on adding the O to my stash. But I never kind of got around to buying the O. But the O is like one of the biggest master grades, and it really has no panel line detail at all, so you have to add your own. But I never got around to it. I do find it useful, though, for rescribing little panel lines when I've been doing some sanding, and I've softened them out a bit, because it's dead easy. And if you're doing Warhammer, and you're doing plasma weapons, where you have that ribbed bit on the top where the plasma coil is, it's great for either taking the seam line out from down the middle, or for restoring the ribs when you've sanded it a bit. So this has mostly seen use in restoring things that I've sanded out. But yeah, I will be at some point. Where do you get those sweet sanding wands, asks Alex. These are the Ultimate Modelling Products sanding sticks in various states of destruction. You can get them in the UK, you can get them from a number of different places. You can get them directly from umpretail.co.uk, I think. You can get them from my channel sponsors, emodels.co.uk. I think you can get them through my Amazon store, which is in the description below this video. Below all my videos, there's an Amazon store link. I think you can get them through there. But I love these. I always make the joke and say that Paul, who owns Ultimate, never puts the grits on the actual sponges, so I can't tell you what grit these are. But there's the rough one, there's the squishy one. There are some other sanding and polishing and buffing ones. I haven't got them here. But I love these. They are brilliant. I will never hear a bad word said about them. I need to get some more because these are all getting a bit knackered now. But yeah, I need to replace those. I've got loads of others. Which I've got. I have a collection. These ones are a mixture of 100 and 180 grit. There you go. There's two different textures. We have 240 and 1200 grit. So that really is, you can tell the difference. That's nice and smooth. That's 1200 grit. That's 240. Although I'm not that keen on I don't use these ones that often. I don't know why, because it's 1200 grit, but I find it, I don't know. I don't like the way it works. It's too scratchy for me. I prefer these. And once you've used one of these for a bit, I don't know what these are though. There's no packing for them. Once you've used these for a bit, they soften out. So they might go from maybe, I don't know, 1400 or 800 grit to they might end up being more like a 1400 grit or a 1600 grit because they just get softer. And I've also got some sanding and polishing ones, a buffer triple pack, like a buffer and a polisher. So yeah, Ultimate Modelling Products. I love them. I absolutely love them, adore them. I've got loads of them. I need to get some more of these spongy ones though. I won't hear a bad thing said about them. Other sanding sticks are available, but I like those. But Alex, you're in Korea, I think, aren't you? So I don't know where you would get them from at your end. Wow. Although e-models do ship overseas, just so you know. Spruglu says, ban him, Dad, banning him. Ban him. Who are we banning? I don't know what we're talking about. Everybody's saying Ultimate Modelling Products. Ammo one-shot primer is the same stuff if that's easier to find in Canada, says Angus Allett. What are we talking about? I don't know who we're talking about primer. Yes, Ammo by Mig one-shot, Badger Steinar Res, which is a stupid name, and UMP Ultimate Primer. Again, Ultimate Modelling Products. My favourite primer. It's the same stuff. It's all the same stuff. Basically, that and that are Ammo one-shot, Ultimate Primer. That's exactly the same product with a different label and a different lid. It's basically, they're all Badger Steinar Res with a different label on. And they're all fantastic. They are, in terms of like water-based primers, it's the absolute best. Don't use this Vallejo nonsense. Vallejo stuff is terrible. Don't use Vallejo. It's the absolute best. In the UK, you get it. You can find either. Well, you can find all three of them. Or it's easier to get UMP and it's easier to get Badger ammo than it is to get the Badger. In the US, you can get UMP, but you're probably more likely to find ammo or the Badger. In Europe, in Spain, obviously, in Italy, you're going to find things like ammo quite easily because it's a Spanish company. And you'll find UMP. You can find most of them. Dave says, I think you're getting confused, folks. They're talking about Aston Villa, not football. I don't like football, even I get that joke. Yeah, so basically, depending on where you are, if you're in the US, you might find the Badger Steinheil res is easier to find because it's an American company. In Canada, I don't know which one you find more easily. Probably all three you probably get because you've got North America just below you. You've got UMP sending it over to North America anyway, into Canada, and you've got ammo, which is kind of worldwide. But again, my sponsors, emodels.co.uk, do ship worldwide. Most things. See what chat is doing. The shape of those sanding sticks are brilliant. I mostly have stuff from the cosmetics section at the pharmacy. Half my makeup cosmetics bin does my double duty. You can just use things like that, cosmetic sanders and buffers. They're absolutely fine. I just love these because you get the fat bit there, and you get this little. I've actually cut half of it off, but it's normally you get like 2 bits like that, and it's just great for getting into little nooks and crannies. And the beauty of these is that because they're soft and spongy, if you're sanding something that's a tube, for example, not that you can really see on camera, but if I'm sanding that, it can bend and conform to the shape rather than risking sanding it flat. So I do like sanding sponges, and this has got some give to it, but it's gone soft at the end, so I tend to use the end bit there. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind sandpaper, but I've never been keen on sandpaper. It's too much effort. Angus Allett says, UMP, Ultimate Modelling Products, will send their products anywhere they can. I got Paul to send me heaps of their sanding sticks. Yeah. So if you can't find a retailer that sells them, just go to, I think it's Uniform Mike Papa Retail.co.uk. If somebody wants to put it in chat, one of the mods wants to put it in chat, you can do. UMPRetail.co.uk. They'll kind of send it anyway. Just drop an email. They'll send it to anybody. They're a small company, so they'll quite happily sell it to anybody they can sell it to. Vallejo is easy to find, but it's poopy, says Retro Rabbit. Vallejo is the worst primer ever created by humans. Ever. 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 Don't ever use any Vallejo primer, ever. The only place that you can use a Vallejo primer without any real problems is on, say, miniatures, tabletop miniatures, where you don't have to do sanding and you don't have to do masking off. Unfortunately, for every other kind of model where you have to do sanding or masking off, Vallejo primer is useless. Don't buy it. Don't use it. I don't care what you say. Don't buy it. Don't use it. It doesn't sand. It doesn't stay on when you use masking tape. That's the primer needs to do 3 things. It needs to grip onto the plastic and give the paint something to grip to. It needs to be sandable, and it needs to stay in place when you put masking tape on it. Vallejo does none of those. So don't buy it. Don't use it. Don't even think about it. If you want a non-lacquer based primer, if you want a water-based or acrylic primer, UMP/Badger/Steinheil res, you don't need to think about it any more than that. All 3 of those are available worldwide, pretty much. Alternatives, of course, are things like your rattle cans. Automotive primers are fine. Your what are the American ones? Rust-Oleum type primers. Yeah, they're fine. They're lacquer primers. Citadel's primers are good. The best lacquer primers I've ever used, model making one specific, are Tamiya. They're really fine, and they're tough as old nails. They're nice. But yeah, even automotive primers, they're fine. The only thing I would say is when you're using rattle can primers, I would say if you can, a lot of people use just automotive ones, and that's fine. Just make sure it says primer on it, because if it said, and make sure it also says sandable. Because if it doesn't say specifically primer and it doesn't say sandable, some automotive primers are actually just paints, and they don't stick to the metal or plastic any better than anything else. So make sure it says sandable primer on it. Automotive ones are fine. The only big thing I would say when using rattle cans, and the reason I would say to use model making specific ones if you can, is because model making specific primers are designed to go onto a thing that has lots of little tiny surface details in such a way it won't obscure all the little tiny surface details. Whereas an automotive primer is designed to paint your car bumper. They're not really thinking that there's going to be a tiny 1/35th scale engine grille or periscope cowling or gun barrel. with lots of scribe detail that needs to be preserved. So do keep that in mind. For absolute best results, use a model making specific primer, just because they generally tend to be a lot finer in pigment and quality and grain than your average automotive ones. Automotive primers are designed to cover large areas and be tough as old nails. They're not designed to preserve tiny little plasma rifle, plasma coils, or little details and things. So your mileage may vary, but there's nothing wrong with automotive primers as long as they don't obscure the detail. Not many nubs on that bit. That's kind of, there's one there. One little nub. The primer is fine for miniatures and its larger models. Yeah, I mean, the Vallejo primer, like we're saying, it doesn't sand, so it's useless for anything other than miniatures. You can't sand it, and there's no guarantee if you mask paint areas off and then pull the masking tape off. Vallejo primer doesn't really stick to anything, so the chances are when you pull the masking tape off, you may pull the paint and primer with it. Now, if you're painting, say, a miniature where there'll be no masking and you're just going to be brush painting, it's probably fine because you're not going to need to sand it. But for anything other than, a tabletop miniature, a Warhammer figure or something, anything where you're going to be doing, say, Gunpla, where you want to have lots of durability, or you want to be masking things off, or you want to do any, anything like that, don't use Vallejo primer. It's absolute gash. The only thing you can do with microwave, I was about to say microwave. The only thing you can do with Vallejo primer is put it in the bin. And the other thing is, some people say that there are people that say, I get it to work and it works fine for me. It does work if you get it exactly right. But that's the problem. To me, the best way to apply a primer, the way I want to apply a primer is I want to get it in my airbrush, spray it on, and then forget it's even there. I want to go primer, airbrush, done. That's as complicated as I think a primer should be. You're not painting, you're just giving a surface a coating so the paint can grip. It's irrelevant. I don't care about the primer. I don't want to have to give it any thought at all. I want to think about painting. I want to think about everything else. But primer, I don't care. It's just there. It's just there to provide grip. I don't want to have to think about it. And I've used Vallejo primer, and I'm sorry, if I have to spend ages getting it, if anybody says to me, our product is brilliant, but you have to get it exactly right to make it work, I'm not going to use it. Because I want to be able to put it in my airbrush, spray it, and forget about it. It's fire and forget. I don't want to have to do maths to use a product. So, no. Really don't recommend Vallejo. I've used it and I hated it. And whenever I did use it, it never worked. So when the UMP/Badger/Vallejo stuff came out, UMP/Badger/ammo stuff came out, it was just like the scales were lifted from my eyes. It was like, oh dear Lord, where have you been all my entire life? And I don't understand why Vallejo have never changed it, because it's been like that for years, and it's well known that it's absolute gash. There's always been the diehards that like it, and that's fine. If they have good results with it, if it works for them, it works for them. But to be perfectly honest, if I was making a product that everybody was going on about it being terrible and not doing any of the things it's supposed to do, I'd change it. Anyway, that's rant over. Foobit says, woohoo, back in time. Hello everyone. Hey Fox, welcome back, Foobits. Lilith says, I like the Vallejo primer. Seems to be the trick for me. I haven't tried the colours though. Seems to be mostly Citadel and testers at the shops in my town. Citadel primers are quite good. They're lacquer primers. Always do a rattle can outside anyway. Rattle cans are always lacquer primers, more or less. It's a very nice primer. I mean, that's the thing. If you're doing miniatures and tabletop stuff, then Vallejo primer is fine. Because you're very likely never going to need to sand anything once it's primed. You're just going to prime your model and then brush paint it. Maybe a bit of airbrush work. But it's most likely you're not going to have to airbrush it and do any masking or do any sanding once it's primed. So it's fine. But if you were building like a World War II tank or a fighter jet or a Gunpla or something, it's absolutely useless. Sproogloo says he threw an almost full bottle in the bin. Lilith says, glances at the garbage bin. It is time to bin the Vallejo. Yes. But it really is a case of with the UMP/Badgers. I've never been so. I'm not the kind of person that will evangelize. What's the word? Evangelize. No. What's the word? When you go on about a product. I'm not the kind of person that will, do that. Really, unless it's something exceptional. And I will take every opportunity I can to make people try the UMP/Badger/Stano-Res, because it really is fire and forget. You don't thin it. You just simply plop it in your airbrush, spray. And I've tried it. I have deliberately oversprayed it super thick, and it comes out flat as a pancake. I mean, you can go too far and really mess it up, but you'd have to be extra special. Sprueglue's off. I've got to get my kids to bed before the better half gets home. Might be back later, depending on how long you're streaming for. I shall be here till about 10 o'clock, another hour or so. Sprueglue says, what time are you streaming till? 10 o'clock. I'll finish thereabouts. Good luck, says. I wish you good luck. I'm so glad you mentioned about the masking. You've saved me a lot of pain. Yep. Also, if you're doing masking, get yourself some Tamiya masking tape. Or, I have got some, but it's hidden away in a corner. If you go online, you can find washi masking tape, which is kind of like Tamiya tape. Don't use DIY, get it from the hardware store, decorator's tape. That will just pull the paint off your model regardless. Get yourself some Tamiya masking tape. If you need to do masking. Since we're on UMP, anyone here have good results with their wash product? I've used them. They're pretty good. The clay-based washes. You might find them handy with Gunpla, because you can't... Before I started doing Gunpla, my method of putting a dirt wash on a vehicle was to get a empty Tamiya clear 10ml jar, clean it out, fill it almost to the top with Tamiya X28 thinner, and put in 1 or 2 brushfuls of Tamiya smoke, and that would be a dirt wash. And I did the Fine Models Millennium Falcon. I gave that 3 coats of that, just putting the brush in and slapping it all over and letting it drip and dry, and it gives a great effect. If I did that on a Bandai kit, the plastic would dissolve. So it's actually quite useful on the Bandai kits where you can't really go in with loads of thinners. And theoretically, you just slap it all over and then get a damp cotton bud and just rub off where you don't want it to be, because it's water-based. It's just clay and water. And it does kind of work, although it's quite gritty and granular sometimes. If it's not a really super smooth surface, you can have to put a bit of effort into to clean this excess away. But it's pretty good. It's not. You just have to make sure you shake the crap out of it, and shake it regularly. If you're putting it on a model, every few minutes, just be shaking the bottle, put the lid back on and shake the crap out of it. But they are really good. In a situation where you can't use thinner-based washes, they're really quite good. And you can airbrush them on as well. There are some pretty good videos on the International Scale Modeler YouTube channel, because it's Paul that runs ISM and it's Paul that owns UMP. There are some pretty good videos on there and showing how you can spray it on and stuff. It's another thing to have in your arsenal. Also, it's completely, well, you wouldn't say it's completely non-toxic. It won't do you any harm if you drink it. It probably won't do you any help either, but you're going to die. It's just water and clay, basically. Probably isn't just water and clay, but you get the idea. I got a little spaceship. It's like a little spaceship. It's like a little miniature stunted version of the Tantive 4. Start this drive. I'll shut up now. Shutting up now, sir. Juan Ferreira's in. What's up, folks? What's up? Hey, buddy. Welcome to the stream. With the sanding and the ranting and the sanding and the more ranting. I shall get this bit sanitated, and then I think it's time to do some stickery giveaways. What do you think, folks? Should we do some stickery giveaways? I think we should do some stickery giveaways. Let me get this bit done and done. Now you will notice me occasionally use this metal file as well. And somebody did actually ask me once, how do I know when to use a metal file, when to go in with the rough, whatever grit that was that I've forgotten already, 120 grit, and when to go in with the squishy soft one, and when to go in with anything else, and sometimes go with, how do you know when you need to use which one? And there's no way to answer that. It's weird. It's one of those things. It's like saying, how do you know which brush to use when you're painting? Whether you want the small one or the big one or the big fat one or the big fluffy one. It's how do you know which one? And unfortunately, it's one of those things where the only way to answer is just say you just kind of know. You get experience and you just kind of begin to get a feel for it. And you're not always right, but you just instinctively get a feel. So I know, for example, on these bits here, there is a little recessed panel line just beyond where I'm sanding. So I could go in with this, but then I'd have to come back and scribe it back out again a little bit. Or I could just use the metal file very, very gently and see if that gets rid of it. Also, it was quite a big chunk of nub sticking out. So I can quickly get rid of that with the metal file and then work it back with the others. The strange thing is, although it's counterintuitive, because I was saying about the sponges being, they squish and reshape and they form to a curved shape quite nicely. Although it's counterintuitive, sometimes I find that the metal file is the best thing to use on curved surfaces when you've got a lot of nub to get rid of. I don't know why, it's just weird. So it is one of those things that unfortunately, there's no scientific way to say this is when you should use a file, this is when you should use a sanding sponge, this is when you should use an emery board or a sanding stick, this is when you should use sandpaper. There's no real set in stone way, really. It's just kind of instinct, and it's not always right, but you just get a feel for these things. Just have fun, experiment and try different things. What works for me might not work for you. That's the other thing. You know, I might find a technique that works perfectly for me, but you may think it's terrible, and every time you try it, you get bad results. So there you go. I'll zoom in so you can see what I'm doing here with the thing. Hang on. Where's the zoomy zoomy? Zoomy zoomy. Which is not actually centered, but never mind. Yeah, so here we've got the little sort of recess here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my scribing tool and very gently, where I've sanded it a little bit, just gently pull that through. Now I am not putting any pressure on that at all. I'm using the weight of the scribing tool itself. Just to push down. I'm going in one direction. I'm not going backwards and forwards. Now I'm going to go back in with the sander, but that's purely just to sort of soften things a little bit. And it just restores that little crisp edge that I sanded away a bit when I was getting rid of the nub. And I'll show you another handy tip in a minute if you make a bit of a scratchy mess. Let's just get this bit scraped and scratched. So the trick with the scribing tool is not to put on any pressure at all and not to try and scribe everything in one go. You use no pressure whatsoever. You use purely the weight of the scribing tool and you go over the same place many times. You don't just go and drag the scribing tool along, because if you're trying to scribe something, where's the thing? You try and scribe it and you slip, you've now put a big massive gouge down the thing where you didn't want a big massive gouge. If you're going very gently and you slip, you might make a very light scratch, which you can sand away and hide. So never put a lot of pressure on. One little trick for you though, if you've sanded a little panel line away and you've gone back in with the scribing tool and you've scribed it back a bit, but it's not quite smooth, it's got a little bit of a texture to it, you can go in with a little bit of Tamiya extra thin, get most of it off the brush and just run it along that little line that you scribed. Extra thin is a welding cement. It melts polystyrene just a little tiny bit. I'm assuming this is it could be ABS for all I know. I think it's polystyrene. It melts it a little tiny bit, and if you've got any hint of a little rough edge where the scribing tool's made a little bit of a scrabbly effect, this will soften it and it will just blend it and smooth it away. So you can use extra thin for funky things like that. There we go. So whenever you've done sanding or scribing or scratching and you've got a rough edge, or, and I've said this before, if you're working on a Warhammer figure, say you're doing a Space Marine, and you've drilled out the barrel of his bolter, and you've put the little hole through the side, little muzzle brake holes, and it looks a bit rough or a little bit scratchy around the edges, just get your extra thin brush with a tiny moisture of the extra thin, not a drop of it, just damp, and just run it around the inside. It softens the plastic and gets rid of any uneven, scratchy edges. It gives you nice, smooth edges. It's also handy if you're gluing things and you get a big thumbprint with glue. When it's dried off, go over with the glue again. It'll soften it and it might get rid of it. Lilith is off. Thanks for having me, folks. Thank you so much for the advice, Fox. My systems are low on resources, so it's food time. Yay. Well, thanks for coming in, Lilith. I always say goodbye to people after they've gone because I don't notice. But thank you for coming in. Hope to see you again. Right, Cy Reynolds says, burgers. Now, Simon, we've had this conversation with other people. You can't just say burgers, you need to say what's on them. What kind of burgers? Is it lamb, beef, chicken, car, dog, rat, I don't know, Meyerlurk, Yao Guai, I don't know, what kind of burger, and what's on the burger? What else have you got on there? Tell me all the things. I need to live vicariously through all your typings in chat, people. So, orange juice is complete. Time for just normal water now. All right, he says. Well, the most important thing that's been said in chat tonight: Aberdeen Angus. Nice Aberdeen Angus burger. Oh yes, that'll be fantastic. Thank you very much. Oh, Aberdeen Angus is the best thing ever. He says, Aberdeen Angus, cheese, bacon, grilled onions. And then he said, I didn't realise we didn't have sauce. Have you not got any mayonnaise or horseradish or even just tomato sauce or just anything? I learned, and here's a valuable lesson. I learned a valuable lesson today. For the last 8 months in this house, we've had a bottle of fish sauce, Vietnamese fish sauce. And it's fantastic. You put a couple of drops in a meal and it just makes the flavour come alive. It smells like the worst smell ever. But I learnt 2 things. First of all, don't get fish sauce on your hand because you will smell like that for about a week. It's not a pleasant smell. It has a very specific smell that I won't explain what it smells like because this isn't a Patreon. If it was a Patreon exclusive stream, I could use rude words and I could tell you what it smells like. No. The other thing I've learnt is don't put a lot of it in your food. Because I was making a soup the other day and I went to put a little tiny dot of fish sauce. I had my bottle like that and I'm like, I get dead nervous because it's so strong and I'm like, oh, don't spill it, don't spill it. And instead of going drop, it went and I'm like, oh. Now it tasted fantastic. It had a load of fish, tasted fantastic, but dear God, did I taste that for about a week. Yeah. No, but they are still tasty and juicy, says Cy Reynolds. Yeah, if you ever run out of sauce, just make onion rings. They go great on top of a burger. Right. Sticker time. Let's do some stickers. It's time to give away some stickers. Right. I have the pen of writing. I need to blow my nose again or wipe my nose. Now, by this point in the stream, as you all know, I need to, I've got a dribbly nose, but there's always a lag between the chat here and the video that you're watching with all the eye holes on your face. So, before we do anything, I need you to press the refresh button on your browser, and hopefully you're all using Chrome. Hopefully. But hit the refresh button on your browser, and then drag the little slidey bar across the right-hand side. So you've got the minimum lag between the chat and the video. And I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to take these gloves off so I can write on my hand if I need to. I'll need to write on my hand. I'm going to ask questions. And the person that comes with the answer first in the chat... Oh, I've got the... hang on. I've got the sticky on my hand again. Just wait there 1 minute. I'm going to... Oh, hang on. Oh, it's gross. It's minging. It's horrible. Hang on. Oh. Oh, yeah. Sticky. You. Oh, it's the one problem with wearing any kind of gloves like that on a hot day. Ooh, sticky fingers. Yes, what was I talking about? Yeah, I'm going to ask you questions. And whoever gets the answer right first in chat wins an sticker of their choice. Now remember, just because your answer appears first in your chat does not mean you are the first to answer it. I see the chat in the order that YouTube receives your comments. You see the chat with you at the front. So just because you're first in your chat doesn't mean you're actually first. So we'll have no arguments if you're not the person I pick. I'm going to write 3 words. Don't even fucks. I have both forearms wrapped in cling film post tattoo. My arms feel sweaty than I'm not going to read that out. On a 100-degree day. Tell me about the tattoo. I need to get more tattoos. But I don't know what to get. I've got to design them myself, of course. I could get that as a tattoo. I must send that to you, Chris, actually. Assuming that Chris is still watching. He's probably downstairs making cups of tea for Gemma. Chrono Man says I can hear you in the background. Yeah. Angus Allen says, fish sauce on the hands. Who uses Chrome? I use Edge, says Pascal. Ew! 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 Edge. Ew! Can everybody point at Pascal and tell him not to use Edge? Chris is here and in Spess. Oh, he's playing Elite Dangerous at the same time. God damn it. So I'm going to do Spess. Because you know what's in Spess? Everything is in Spess. We will go to Spess today. I'm going to write. I don't know what I'm going to write. I'm going to write. I'm writing. Thingerstuber Cargarber. If you watch the Peter Cook and Dudley Moore Thunderbirds sketch that I put in the Boom Hut the other day, you'll know what that is. Thingerstuber Cargarber. I intend to use that word often now. I've written it down on a sticky note to remind me to use it as often as possible. Thingerstuber Car. Fubit says Banff. And that makes me think of Banff in Canada. So on this one, I'm going to write Banff, as in the place in Canada. Canada, eh? And I'm also going to draw another terrible. It's gone wrong again already. It's a terrible squig. How come I can send Cy Reynolds a drawing of a squig on an envelope that looks fantastic, and then when I try and draw one on a sticker, it comes out like absolute gash? You'd think I did actually know how to draw a squig by doing that, but never mind. That's supposed to be a squig, but it's terrible now. It's a Banff squig. I don't know what that means. Right, anyway, so we have 3 stickers, 1 model making Gru, and we've got 2 of Dad's. Dad's channel is Scaly Models. Dad in chat, the mod Dad, who's a lovely, lovely fella, but will rip your spine out if you piss him off. Dad is one of your mods. He's also got his own channel, Scaly Models. I don't know why. I don't know if you click on Dad's comments and go to channel, if it takes him to this channel or to his own personal. I don't know which one you use, Dad. Do you use this one? I don't know. But Scaly Models is Dad's channel. Cy Reynolds says, damn it, now I need to win a sticker for the squig. That's an Angry Bird, says Angus. Yeah. Right, anyway, so we're going to do some questions. So, yes, hopefully you've all refreshed and dragged by now. Thingerstuber Cargarber. So, I've got to think of some questions. I shall now think of some questions. And you know, they're all going to be Google ones because they're going to be something that I've been doing or reading or watching recently. Let's have a think and see. That was almost the Men in Black theme tune. There you go. So I've got to think now. I've got to think of things in my brain. The shower head is dripping in the bathroom and it's doing my day and I can hear it from here. Right, let's have a think. We have some things. Thinking. Think of a fact that I know the answer to. That makes it more complicated. Here's a really easy one. Here's a really, really easy one. Hopefully you all know this. Because you're all, like me, interested in sciencey stuff. Hopefully none of you out there are into woo and nonsense. Anyway, ready? First one to get the right answer. Which planet or which... No, let's rephrase this. Which object in the solar system... Which object in our solar system... Excuse me. I didn't plan for that. Oh, hello, that was rude. Oh, burpage, pizza burps. Kebab pizza burps. Which object in the solar system has a heart? Go. Yeah, it was a good burp, that was. It wasn't very good, but it was a good burp. It wasn't a brilliant burp, but it was a good burp. Question's kind of vague, but I'll see if any of you get it. Model Maker 12 says Pluto, and is absolutely correct. So Model Maker 12, well done. Not seen you in chat before, welcome. Pluto is correct. One of the sort of patches on Pluto looks exactly like a heart, and it's adorable. And it's not a planet, because it's a dwarf thing. It's a Kuiper Belt dwarf object. Kuiper Belt. Yeah, anyway. So yes, Pluto. So would you like Spess, which is one of mine? Would you like Thingus du Bacargarber, or would you like Bamf and the Squig, the badly drawn squig? Let us know. And then he says hello afterwards. Let us know which sticker you want. We'll sit here and look at you and silently look at you until you tell us which one you want. It's a Spess. There you go. Awesome. Model Maker 12. Well done. That's yours. All you need to do, if you win a sticker, is send me an email to fox@modelmakingguru.com. Tell me your name, your address, and please tell me what your YouTube name is, because I've written your YouTube name on the stickers. I had a few that said to me, saying, "Hi, my name's Bob Smith and I want a sticker." And I'm like, I've got no sticker with Bob Smith. I've got like YouTube handles. So make sure you include your YouTube handle. Say, I am Bobulon25 Sniper XXOX, or whatever your handle might be on YouTube. Here's my name, here's my address. Please send me all the shizzle. Now remember, I say this every time, but it's worth saying every time because I have to. If you have won a sticker previously, you'll be in here, in this pile of stickers. I've sent out all the UK ones, apart from somebody, somewhere. There's one in here that was waiting on the name. All the UK ones have gone out because that's a post box at the end of my road. If you're outside the UK, you'll be in here because I only get to the post office once every so many months. I have to go to the post office and spend money. So you will get your stickers when I get round to going to the post office, because it's not in walking distance. So I have to go. This is a bit of a trek to the post office. So if you're outside the UK, don't panic if it's been months and months and months. You will get them. I have them there. And when you send me the email, I keep the email in my inbox until I've sent the sticker out, and then I delete them. I do not keep your name and address or anything like that. That's why you have to send me an email every single time you win a sticker. If you win 3 stickers in one show, just tell me you won 3. Right. Model Maker says, woohoo, finally get to watch a live stream. So we've got 2 scaly model stickers. Let's think of some things. Let's think of a question. I should really plan this. If I was clever, I'd actually think of the question beforehand. Let me think about things that I've been reading about on the internet today. I could ask you a question about missing Russian cosmonauts, but I can't remember any of the answers, so I'm not going to do that. That's one thing I was reading about today. Let's have a think. Can't think of an answer or a question because I'm stupid. Come on, think of a question, Fox. Spruglo Addict says, last time I won a sticker, the envelope arrived with the word SWALK on the back. That wasn't from me. Alex says, Nick Cage. Okay. Okay, let me just check something very, very quickly. I'm going to move my iPad and have a look. I just need to check something very, very quickly. I need to unplug my iPad for a start. I need to do this off camera because otherwise you'll see what I'm checking. Okay. Where's my thing gone? There we go. I wasn't actually checking that at all. Okay. Carl Sagan. Cosmos. If you wish to make an apple pie, you must first do what? Go. If you wish to make an apple pie, you must first... What? What must you do first? I don't need the exact words, but there's only like 3 words. If you wish to make an apple pie, you must first... And nobody says the word crumbly like Carl Sagan. Oh, for the love of dog, does he say crumbly the best way? Alex Otto says, ask your wife. Retro Rabbit gets it right with, if you wish to make an apple pie, you must first invent the universe, or create the universe. That will do for me. So, Retro Rabbit Studios, well done. You have won a sticker. Would you like Thingerstube Cargarber, or would you like Banff with the badly drawn squig? I wasn't going for the exact wording. Close enough. Create the universe, invent the universe. Close enough. Carl, sigh, you were just a little bit too slow on the typing. Now, Retro Rabbit, which I'd like the Thingerstube Cargar, but you're all torturing Simon Reynolds, aren't you? So Retro Rabbit. Oops. Retro Rabbit. So remember, just send me an email with name and address and your YouTube handle so I know who sent it to me. And we'll get that out to you. So well done. Thingerstube Cargarber. Colin's in. Welcome, Colin. Colin from Festa 67 Workshop, another one of your mods. And Vincent from Mr. Loves Model Making is in as well. Welcome to 2 of you. Fox, I sent you a question if you're stuck. Let me just see if I can get into my email. Pascal Livers explains how to actually make an apple pie, and YouTube censors his comments because he says cuts a slit in the crust. YouTube decides that the word crap is fine, but the word slits is not acceptable. Okay, that'll do. Right. I shall read out. Before we do though, I'll read Pascal's cooking instructions in a moment. So don't let me forget. I need to explain to you how to make an apple pie. If you wish to make an apple pie, you must first invent the universe. Okay. Right, are you ready? Last question for... Now, Simon, are you ready with the typing fingers? I'm going to give you a clue before I answer well, I'll give you a clue afterwards. Right. Ready? It's a question from Adam Clark. And it was actually relevant to a couple of days ago. So you ready? The other day was the 75th anniversary of the D-Day landings in Normandy in World War II. Which beach is missing? Utah, Omaha, Gold, Sword. What's the missing beach? Clue? It's also the name of an old synthesizer. So which beach is missing? Utah, Omaha, Gold, Sword, and... Doodle-doo. Doodle-doo-doodle-doo-doo-doo. And Osric 9000 is straight in with Juno. Juno is in fact the correct answer. Sigh, you didn't win it. There you go. Osric, you know full well the routine for a winning sticker. You won the Scaly Models, by the way. Yep, just send me an email. I shall add that to your growing pile. Gross Models just says spec. Earth is the shore of the cosmic ocean. Recently, we've waded a little way out, and the water seems inviting. Still more glorious dawn awaits. Not a sunrise, but a galaxy rise. I can't remember the rest of the quote now. Anyway, yes, I love Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan is just the best person ever. Right, so... Simon Reynolds explains his tattoo. He says, I finished my Star Wars forearm and started a massive Balrog on the right arm. Is that a Lord of the Rings thing? I don't know about Lord of the Rings. Time Pascal out for 10 minutes for Edge. Kev Lawson says he must share a pic of his gaming tat. I assume you mean a gaming tattoo, not a pile of gaming rubbish. Yeah, I assume you mean tattoo. Right, anyway. Banff. Ha, cool. Anyway, where was I going? I was going to do, yes, the cooking instructions. We've got about 25 minutes left. Here we go. In a small bowl, combine sugar, flour and spices and set aside. In a large bowl, toss apples with lemon juice. Add sugar mixture, toss to coat. Line a 9-inch pie plate with bottom crust, trim even with edge. Fill with apple mixture. Dot with butter. Roll the remaining crust to the top, fit the top of the pie. Place over the filling. Trim, seal and flute the edges. Cut slits in the crust. Beat egg white until foamy. Brush over the crust. Sprinkle with sugar. Cover edges loosely with foil. Bake at 375 degrees for 25 minutes. Remove the foil and bake until the crust is golden brown and filling is bubbly. 20 to 25 minutes longer. Cool on a wire rack. Eat with your face. I really want apple pie now. Oh yeah. I took... was in hospital the other day with Mama Fox going for a checkup. And we had, when we'd been and done all the stuff we needed to do, we went to the little have a cup of coffee eatery thing. And it was what I call the WRVS, the Women's Royal Voluntary Service. It's not called that anymore. It's just called the Royal Voluntary Service now. But like I said to Mama Fox, you can't tell me, I can't say RVS. That means nothing. It's WRVS. Anyway, they had this apple pie. It was a slice of apple pie, and I swear it was like that thick. It was proper WRVS apple pie, that thick, a wedge that big, made of all the happiness, and it was like 3p or something. It was like, oh God, it was so nice. Proper, made in 1947, WRVS apple pie. Oh, it was to die for. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. Simon says, Tats have posted the Boom Hut. Share your peeps. I'd show you mine, but they're on my arms and you can't see them. So, thank you for that, Si. Yay, a squig. What's chat doing now? Pascal, you scare me. And Pascal says, why? And Spriggloo says, because you're on the internet. You're everywhere. You are the internet. Chris is apologising to Colin for not saying hello faster, but Chris is actually in the middle. He's playing Elite Dangerous at the moment, so he's ignoring chat. He's being very rude. He's in spec. Right, we've got 25 minutes left. I'm not going to do any more work now because it's too warm, and I'm having fun just hanging out with you guys. So let's do some just general chit chat. Ask me questions. Give me things to talk about. Ask me questions about anything. Ask me a question about something. Let's just talk and hang out. It's more fun just to hang out with you guys. Water. I was actually worried before I started the stream because literally 5 minutes before I had to press the do button on the stream. You know, press the do button, it makes things do. Before, like literally 5 minutes before I had to press the button, I had to go and have an emergency toilet moment because something I ate yesterday didn't react very well. And I've spent this last 2 hours hoping that I didn't have to suddenly rush off, and I haven't, so yay. Snowman says, what's 2 plus 2? That's a maths. That's a maths. Banned. Don't do maths in my chat. How long until you start building the Falcon? Well, we've got all them to clean up, plus another one of these, and then I've got to build it and paint it. Yeah, it's coming after the Sazabi, basically. It's the next build. After the Sazabi, and I don't know how long the Sazabi is going to take. I've got a plan for the paint job, but I don't know how long it's going to take. I've not built the Sazabi before, so I don't know how long that's going to take. So your guess is as good as mine, probably hundreds of years, but I need to get this done because it's George's, Patreon reward build. I can't make it take too long. Favourite crisps flavour, asks Angus Allett, has to be cheese and onion. It's got to be cheese and onion. Yeah, cheese and onion. Cheese and onion. The easy question would be, how long is a piece of string? Yeah, it's the Sazabi. If it was like a regular master grade, I'd say, X amount of time. Because it's the Sazabi, I've got no idea. Retro Rabbit says, my Sazabi has been in the works for a few years now. I'm so lazy. Yeah, no, it's not going to take that long. This is a reward bill for George. When this is finished, it gets put in a shipping crate and it gets sent off to George to go into his display cabinet with his 13 other Sazabis. Because he's one of my patrons. On that note, don't forget, of course, if you want to help support this channel, advertising moment, if you want to help support this channel, please do. I do this for a living. I depend pretty much 80% of my income comes from my patrons. And they're absolutely wonderful people that keep me going, keep food on my table and keep the lights on and keep my bills paid, because this is my job. So if you'd like to help support the channel, there's a few ways you can do it. First and foremost, you can support me on Patreon, which is patreon.com/model making guru. The address is there. Go and have a look. And if you'd like to help support me, you can do. Little or as much as you like. There are various benefits and rewards for doing so. Alternatively, if you want, you can just make sure that if you're watching my videos, if you have adverts pop up, if you want to watch my stuff, maybe you watch it without your ad block thing on. Let the advert play for 30 seconds. It's only 30 seconds and it really helps me out. Helps me out massively. Make sure to like and subscribe, of course, as well. And don't forget, of course, I do have two things. First of all, merchandise. A very small selection of merchandise right now, but I do have some and I'll be doing more soon. So have a look in the description below all my videos. There's a link to the merchandise store, some hoodies and t-shirts. So not much there yet, but there will be more. And don't forget, of course, I do have an Amazon store. Where it's got a big selection of model making tools and paints and products, not actual kits, but all the stuff you'd need for making models. If you need to go on Amazon and buy some bits and bobs, before you go and do that, and you're in the UK, it's UK, but if you're in the UK, just go and have a look on the link under my videos. There's a link in there as well. Video description. Have a look and see if it's in my store. Use that link to order. It doesn't cost you anything more. It doesn't make any difference to you, but it helps make me a little tiny bit of income. So go and have a look at that as well. So more questions. Marmite, says Dad. Marmite is correct, Dad. That is the correct answer. Have you ever had Taco Bell? No, I don't think we have many Taco Bells in the UK. None up here anyway. I've had the only any kind of food like that I've ever had. I have had a chimichanga, and that was at a Tex-Mex place that I can't remember what it's called. It's one of the few ones we have in this country. I don't think it's one that's come from America though. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, I've had a chimichanga. That was very, very nice. Cy Reynolds says, is this one getting weathered? Yes, this will be. Because it's going to be painted in the style of the Shanghai Dragons, who are not very good. They don't win ever. In the tournaments, they just don't win. George loves them to bits, but everybody's, a lot of people like the underdog because they don't do very well. They don't win very much. It's going to be a bit battered and beaten. George wanted it to be weathered. He knows that I do weather models, so he's happy for it to be chipped and weathered and beaten. But also, I am doing the sort of Borderlands style, or going to hopefully do a Borderlands style paint job as well. So it'll be in the Shanghai Dragons colours with relevant decals, but it will be in the Borderlands style paint job. Possibly. I've got to do some tests, but I've been taking lots of screenshots in Borderlands 2 today of things like walls, and I've been taking screenshots of the loaders. Various loaders in various states have exploded because I've shot them, to look at how they've done like grey metal inner frames and the outer bits, to see how they're painting them, weathering them. So I've been looking at those, keep an eye on them. So wait and see. Let's have a look. Snowman says, what do you all think of Robert Pattinson being the new Batman? I have no idea who Robert Pattinson is, so I don't care. As far as I'm concerned, Michael Keaton and then everybody else after that was just terrible. Basically, anything after the 1989 Batman film is terrible. So there you go. Quanaban says, one Patreon benefit is a hilarious Foxy Tourette's if I do my live streams. Yeah, I do. I like to swear. I don't actually swear when I'm talking, but I'll just sit there and do a minute of swearing just to get out of my system. He's tall and broody, plus women love him. Okay. Adam West says, Dad, nor me, who is Robert Pattinson? Pattinson, I have no idea. He's the Twilight guy. Vincent, do you really think I'm ever going to have watched Twilight? Seriously, do you really think that's going to be something I'm going to have watched? He's the Twilight guy. That means nothing to me. You mean he's sparkly? Am I really ever going to... I mean, even Gutham's looking at you with a kind of side eye now. Like, what? I don't know who the Twilight guy is. I'm not going to... I never made Twilight go into my eyes. Why would I watch such nonsense? Honestly. I don't know. But however, you've now just admitted that you know who the people in Twilight are, which means you've watched Twilight, which means we can all point at you now and give you a quizzical look. So everybody please give Vincent a quizzical look for knowing who the people are in Twilight. Also, Snowman said the same thing. The Snowman gets a sideways look as well. Simon Reynolds says, you've said Twilight, and now I'm more interested in stabbing my eyes with a spoon repeatedly. Yes, I would agree. Spruglu Adek says, what's Twilight? You just don't ask that question. Don't ask the question. Don't even, just don't. Here we go. Vincent is backpedaling. He says, no, but honestly, the tons of adverts they had for those garbage movies, which I was forced to see in the cinema in a hopeless 2-year pursuit of a girl. There we go, you see. Yeah, what he means is he quite liked the Twilight. No, I'm only joking. We all know, maybe you watched them in secret, maybe, I think. No, I'm only joking. Snowman says, I was fooled into watching it. The wife said it was vampires and werewolves. Oh, the lies. Anyway, yes, I can't believe that my chat has devolved into conversation about Twilight. Oh, dear Lord. I can honestly say, I know what it is. I've just never watched it. I only know what it is because I've heard other people talk about it, and I've read things like, various websites that discuss such matters. Alex says, Fox, I'm sure you get this question a lot. Do you take commissions? Also, George Clooney was the best Batman. No. Then he says, all about those nipply suits. Yeah, there was that. I used to do commissions, but then I realised very quickly that doing a commission is a living hell on earth, and so I don't do them anymore. Purely because commissions were, the money was nice. It was very nice to be paid a lot of money, but the stress was too intense. Because more often than not, I was building something I didn't want to build in the first place, that I had no interest in, but I had to build it. And I could not afford to make any mistakes. And it's far too stressful. It's just too stressful, so I don't do them anymore. The only thing I do nowadays is, like I'm doing this for George, I do a Patreon reward build for my $100 plus top tier patrons. After a certain period, I build for them a kit of their choice, basically as a way to say thank you. It's not a commission, because it's my way of saying thank you to them for the support for each 12 months. So it's a lot in my mind. It's not a commission, so I've got a lot of freedom to do it how I want to do it. I've got a lot of freedom to, if I mess it up, I can fiddle around with it. I'm not building something 100% to somebody's spec that they want this and they're paying top dollar for it and all that kind of stuff. It's more of a thank you gesture to the patron rather than I'm paying you all this money, you have to make this thing. So it works out that way, but that's the closest I get to it nowadays. So have a look. Vincent says, I even sat through the marathon showing where the last one came out, even though I hadn't fathomed on 20-year-old me that I'd been friend-zoned rather hard. Oh dear. You haven't figured that out. Yeah, when you're 20 years old, you really don't see the friend zone that clearly. When you're 35 and 40 years old, you see the friend zone a mile away. Spruglu says, I've just Googled it. Can we all have a moment of silence for Spruglu's innocence? Snowman says, what's everyone's favourite movie? It is The Wrath of Khan. Star Trek The Wrath of Khan. Very closely followed by Blade Runner. Hey, Kenneth's in. Hey, Kenneth. He says, do you know what time it is, Fox? Is this the night shift stream? Hey, Kenneth. No, I know what time it is. I like to do things in the evening sometimes just to give people who aren't around during the day. Especially on a weekday. If I'm doing a stream in the weekend, I'm kind of varying them between evening and afternoon because in the UK here, people are around at both times because they're not necessarily always at work. During the week, in the UK, a lot of people will be at work during the day, but I know a lot of international viewers will be around in the afternoon, not in the evening. So I like to kind of vary them in the afternoon sometimes or in the evening. I've only really got a couple of slots like in the afternoon and the evening. So I try and vary them, but sometimes I've got no choice. I might have to do things like today I had stuff to do during the day. I couldn't sit there and do a stream this afternoon. So, but yes, hey, nice to see you, Kenneth. Welcome. Vincent says, well, you sort of were commissioned by me to help me out with the logo idea I had. How long has that been now? 2 years? Now, drawings are different. Drawings, I don't mind doing, like art commissions are a bit different. If I was, as an example of why I don't do model commissions anymore, and I've told this story to most people. Alex might not have heard this. My first Gumpler commission was, my first Gumpler commission was a heavy arms, master grade heavy arms. I'd never built a Gumpler before, and it was all fun. It was great fun. And two things happened. First of all, I didn't know about thinners and Bandai plastic. So I'm doing a commission build and all the bits of armour start to crack and snap. That was fun. Only if you, and luckily I was able to fix it. But the second thing was, I'd finished the mobile suit. I'd painted the little tiny standing. There was the Trower Barton that goes in the cockpit. He was in there painted. I painted the sitting Trower Barton. I'd just finished painting the standing Trower Barton. I dropped him off my desk onto the floor and I rolled my office chair over the figure and the figure went like that. Little tiny figure, that big. I had to then go on Amazon and spend 45 quid to buy the whole kit again just to replace the little tiny standing figure of Trower Barton. Yeah, that was 45 quid well spent. So, and then I didn't need the kit after that, so I gave it to my friend Busby, that's his heavy arms. But that's the problem. You can't afford to make a mistake. So if I'm doing a build for someone and I screw it up, I did do a couple of commissions of the Fine Molds Millennium Falcon. That's a 300 quid kit. If I'd been in the middle of building that and something had gone wrong and the kit had become a write-off, I'd have to buy the kit again on my own money to fulfill the commission. So it's too stressful. A lot of people do ask me, should I start doing commissions? And I openly say this to people. It's a way to make money, because if you're good and you've got a reputation and you've got a good portfolio, you can charge a lot of money. I was typically charging at the minimum £8 an hour, which for a typical 100-hour build, that's 800 quid. You can make some good scratch, but it's a lot of stress. You have to build a model on a certain deadline. There are deadlines. It might be something you don't want to build. I've built 3 Revell U-boats. I never want to build a Revell U-boat ever again. But I built 3 of them. 1 for fun and the 2 because I was being commissioned. Yeah, once you've built one of something, the second one is not that much fun. The third one is even less fun. And there's nothing worse than if it's something you don't particularly want to build. You'll all know this. From making your kits, if you're a model maker, you know. If you lose the desire to finish, if you're making a kit and you lose the mojo for it halfway through, you just put it back in the box and you go off and you do. We've all done that. We've all started building a kit and halfway through we've gone, you know what? I'm not enjoying this. It's coming out like garbage. It's not a fun build. I'm just going to put it back in the box and I'm going to do something. I did that with the Master Grade Full Armor Unicorn. I just stopped halfway through and gave it away as a prize because I just got bored. I lost my desire to finish it. And there's nothing worse than when you get halfway through a build and you lose the liking of the build. You lose the mojo for it. If you carry on working with it, you're grudge painting, you're grudge building, you're grudge weathering. You're not going to do your best work. And when somebody's paying you, you can't afford to do that. So you get this situation where you're in the middle of, you might be making a kit you don't want to make because either you've made it before or it's not something you're interested in. You might hate the kit because it might be a terrible kit, but you have to build it. You might not have any interest in the subject, but you have to build it. All that, and you don't have any, you can't put it back in the box and walk away and do something else. You have to do it, and you've given yourself agreed deadline with the client. Yes, you're getting paid, that's a motivation, but it doesn't stop you getting bored halfway through and really wishing you didn't have to finish it. But you still have to finish it better quality than you would normally build for yourself. So if you're going to do commission work, you've got to have the right frame of mind. You've got to really be happy to build and paint anything. Because if, like me, you've got a short attention span, don't even think about doing commission builds. Just don't even think about it, because you'll just end up hating yourself. Your builds will take months and months and months and months and months and months and months, and you'll just get to the point where you really just don't want to do it anymore. Like I say, the Patreon reward builds are different because it's my way of saying thank you to my patrons. So I want to build them. I enjoy building them, and I can, if I want to, take 6 months. I'm not on a deadline. I mean, I need to get it done ASAP for George, and for Jordan, I did the other one, the Strike Mauve. But I'm not on I must finish it by this date. You know, it's not like somebody's paid me hard cash for it already. It's my way of saying, so I've got an open-ended deadline. I can take 6 weeks or a month or 6 months. It takes me 2 years. I can take my time. I can lavish attention on it. And I've got a lot more freedom to interpret things. Like George says to me, just do what you do. This is what I want. I want the Shanghai Dragons colour scheme. Here's a photograph of the thing. Can you do that? But you just do it the way you do things. Just you work your magic. You just do what you want to do. So that's a lot freer, and I'm enjoying this. And apart from the tedious sanding bit, which nobody likes, I can't wait to get building it and paint it because it's going to be great fun. So this isn't like a commission, and Jordan's Strike Mauve wasn't like a commission. It was a way of saying thank you. I can put my heart into it. When you do a commission, you don't care about the actual model. You don't care about it. You just care about the money, and there's no emotional heart in it. And I wouldn't recommend. I would never do it again. I'll never do commissions again. Lots of questions have trolled on now, and I've got to try and find them. Hang on. I think everyone's still paddling like a drowning man, trying to deny they know anything about Twilight, but it's all too late now. Stickers on the way, Mr. Fox, says Colin. Thank you very much, dude. Yes, we have some Dad's Scaly Model stickers, of course. You've seen those. I'll be getting some of Colin's Festa 67 stickers. If you have stickers for your channel, now don't forget, if you're in the Boom Hut, if one of the mods could very kindly post up the Boom Hut link for me. If you're not in the Boom Hut, go and join the Boom Hut. It's the best place to be to hang out, to be a model maker. If you've got your own YouTube channel, you do the model making, then feel free to pimp it in the Boom Hut. We fully encourage people to share their websites, their blogs, their channels. As long as you're not selling anything, you can post up links to your videos and stuff in the Boom Hut. We encourage it because the whole point is to teach people how to do what I do. That's why I do these videos, and also to encourage people that are wanting to do like videoing and YouTubing and stuff, encourage them out of the shells to start doing stuff. I've kind of got a lot of people over the years who've never done a video before. I've kind of egged them into doing it, and now they're doing video content. So, feel free. Do click on people's names in the chat. See if they've got a chance. If you have a channel, if you've got a YouTube channel of your own, I am more than happy, if you want to send me stickers, to give your stickers away, like I do with Dad's. I've got some for, what have we got? Got some for Dad's, got some for the Sprue crew. I've got some. I did have a load for Gross Models, but Chris, you need to send me some more if you've got any. Got quite a few others. I'll happily give out other people's stickers as a bit of a free, PR blitz for them. That's not a problem for me. If you want to send me some stuff, just drop me an email. I'll give you my address and stuff. You've got stickers for your channel. Just keep it to stickers, because obviously it's not expensive for me to send stickers out. Don't be sending me like baseball caps and stuff to give out to people, because I can't afford to post out prizes and things. But stickers are easier. Stick them in an envelope. Email address is always there on screen. It's there. fox@modelmakingguru.com. If you want to send me stickers for your channel, feel free, or your website. Kenneth says, I've done 4 commissions and enjoyed them, but I've been very choosy with what I do. I will actually say, Kenneth, this is one thing where maybe it might be a bit different. If the one time I might consider doing commissions is for Warhammer, because that is a bit different. With Warhammer, you build the model, you paint it. That's it. And that's all fun. I think what I was saying about, if anything goes wrong, you've screwed the whole thing up and you've got to... That doesn't really fit with Warhammer, because with Warhammer, the build is fairly easy. You build the thing and then you paint it. And if it goes wrong, you just strip all the paint off and do it again. So if I was going to do ever commissions again, it would be something like Warhammer. Because it's not like a Gunpla where you've got to build it, you've got to paint it, and then when you built it, you've got it painted, and you move an arm and something snaps, and then the paint scrapes off, and then you've got to repaint the whole damn thing. It's not like that, or building a U-boat where it's 3 foot long and I've got to try and ship it. So probably Warhammer stuff, yeah. I probably might consider doing commissions in the future for that, maybe. If I ever go back to doing commissions, it would be solely for stuff that I can build quickly and then paint. Spend the time painting it. As it stands at the moment, with Patreon rewards, it was originally Gunpla. That has now changed to Warhammer builds. So if you're a top tier patron, you can choose a Warhammer build of your choice. Although Jordan still get Gunpla because it's a legacy from them. Vincent said, the 2 commissions offers I had so far were fun. One guy sort of ran a competition between me. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Vincent got a request for a commission. And the person who had wanted to commission him was a complete tool who basically asked him what it would cost, and then at the same time was asking the same questions of somebody else independently, and was facing off Vincent against somebody else, and then went with the guy who gave him the cheapest offer. And it was like, yeah, the moment somebody starts doing that, you just say, I'm sorry, this is no longer an offer I'm going to take. You're paying me to do a bill for you. You're not, yeah, that was well out of order. It was well out of order. Vincent can explain that a lot better. Basically, customer, it's like, hey, will you build this kit for me? Yes. How much will you charge? I'll charge this much. Well, I've got somebody else who wants to, who'll only charge me half as much. Well, then, goodbye. My answer would be, well, goodbye. Yeah, don't pit me against someone else and put me in a price war. This is my basic rule was, how much would it cost for me to build this? I would say, here is the price. Can you do it cheaper? No. With commissions, it's no, that's the price. Angus says, that's about being professional, Fox. What's about being professional? I'm lost. What's about being professional? I don't know what I was saying sort of 10 minutes ago now, so. Dad says he's got some pens coming. Ooh, throbbing pens. Stationery. Space Hamster's in. Hey folks, welcome Space Hamster. My commission builds have been figures and busts mostly, says Kenneth. Yeah, but the thing is, I suppose, the thing is, Kenneth, you're a fantastic painter. You're an incredible painter. And yeah, I think, like I said, if I was going to go back to doing commissions, it probably would just be restricted to things like Warhammer stuff. Because that's all painting. And I don't mind that so much. Because that is at least fun. And that's where I get to express myself. But when it's the third time I've built a 3-foot long Revell U-boat. Fluffy Guts is in, says, good evening from sunny Orkney. Sunny, but windy. Hey, Fluffy Guts. I'm led to believe there is things en route to me. Thank you very much. Yes, Angus, what were we talking about being professional? I've lost whatever I was talking about. I've forgotten. Second guy wanted one of the Chinese resin Sazabi busts with movement at full lighting. He was never heard from again after I ballparked him for a high gloss finished example. Yes, the funny thing about doing commissions is people don't seem to realise how much these things cost. As somebody doing commissions, the difficulty is when you first start out, you can't demand high price because nobody knows who the hell you are. You've not got a reputation. But you have to basically work on some sort of basic level. And I've had people say to me, you know, how much would it cost me? A guy actually approached me and said, how much would you cost me for you to build the fine moulds 1/72 Millennium Falcon with full paint and weathering? And I said, that would be about 800 to 900 quid. And they said, oh, I thought it was going to be like maybe a couple of hundred. And I said, yeah. I would be earning half as much as somebody who works part-time in McDonald's if I charge you that much. So, no, I'm not spending 100 hours at £2 an hour. So, yeah, a lot of people don't understand how much these things cost. So, if you're doing commissions, you might receive 20 commission requests, and of those, 2 of them will actually be serious. They think you can just... You get people that say, hey, I want you to build this kit, but the kit's only 20 quid, so what's the commission? Maybe 100 quid? And I'm like, no, that'd be like 700 or 800 quid. And they're like, oh, bye. Yeah, you don't. Yeah. Yeah. Simon Reynolds says, I take Warhammer commissions, but I charge according to my reputation. Yes. Simon, you're a Golden Demon winner. You can charge massive amounts. If I was a Golden Demon winner, I would charge massive amounts. But rightly so, because you've got the talent and skills. So there you go. How much does Kevin charge then? I charge by the hour, £25 an hour. Wow. I feel bad if I was charging some 8 or 9 quid an hour because it's just over minimum wage. Yeah, but he's a golden demon winner. That's the thing. I mean, yeah, if I was going to do, because the ways I look at it now is I don't want to do commissions, not for Gunpla or anything else. I may potentially do commissions again in the future, just purely for Warhammer stuff. When I think I'm good enough at brush painting. Right now, I've only been doing brush painting for a couple of years. I'm not great. But right now, I'm happiest doing Patreon reward builds because I can take my time. There's no deadline and I can put my heart and soul into it because it's saying thank you. And also, what I need to get back to doing this year, which I haven't done much, I need to get this and the Falcon done so I can get back into building things and painting things to put up for sale. My intention always was to build and paint stuff to then sell it. A bit like John Bias, he builds like 15 kits a week and he sells them all. That was my intention, always has been. And I have done for a while, but it's been a while since I've done that. So my intention is really to get stuff built up, especially Warhammer stuff, because you can do it quickly in a week or two. Get it built up, paint it, and get it on eBay or get it up for sale. But in terms of commissions, when I think I'm good enough brush painting, I might go back to doing commission work for Warhammer, but we'll see. We'll see. They're Russian painters in modelling that undercut everyone else's prices too. This happens a lot in illustration. Low income country, low commission prices, and all this international. Yes. There's not just Russian, but there's... When I first started out doing paid commission work, I was frustrated by the fact there were people out there, I won't mention names, it's probably nobody you'd know, but there were a few people out there doing the same kind of things that I was doing, but charging stupid money. Like, they would paint a Revell Colonial Viper for £150. That's like 40 or 50 hours work at least. and they're charging 150 quid. It's less than minimum wage. And you've got to compete with that. And it's very hard to say, I want you to pay me £700 for something when somebody else is charging 200. What can you do? What can you do? It's a custom piece of artwork, so yeah. Spruglu says, where do you sell the kits when built? I just pop them on eBay. Bang them on it. I've only sold a few. And I have to admit, I will openly admit, that Mama Fox, for some reason, likes to buy my Gunpla sometimes. Not all of them, but there's quite a few of my builds that you've seen on my site showing as sold that are actually still in this house. They're in a cabinet downstairs. Because Mama Fox, I put it on eBay, Mum's like, I'll buy that. Done. There. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. Purely because she likes my work. she buys loads of them. Not all of them, but, I just stick them on eBay. What I tend to do, what I intend to do when I do go back into buying stuff and selling it, is basically when I when I do a build that's purely to be sold, for example, like the Rooker Truck Swig Buggy, that'll be a build to sell. My Mortarian will be sold once that's finished. My Shouty Space Horse, the Star Drake, that's a build to sell. They will go. I will notify my patrons first that something is up for sale, and if they're interested, it'll be like, hey patrons, I'm selling this. Here's the price. Do you want to buy it? Contact me. That'll be like a week, maybe. They'll have a week for patrons to get first refusal, or patrons who are in the top tier can actually choose one of the builds that I've done throughout the year that I'm going to sell as one of their rewards if they want to. So if I paint up that Star Drake, one of my patrons, top tier patron, might say, hey, instead of building me something at the end of the year, can I just claim that as my 12-month reward build when it comes around? I'm like, yeah, no problem. So I'll let my patrons know first, and then if there's no interest there, I'll pop it on eBay. Colin's off. Thanks for coming in, Colin. Take care, buddy. Fluffy Gut says, I'm not very good at painting, so I don't have to worry about selling my work. I don't think I'm good enough at brush painting yet, really, to start selling stuff at bigly. I've sold a few bits, but I'm not going to ask bigly money. I'm nowhere near, not Simon's level for a start, but, Vincent says, talking to Space, I'm saying the first offer for his commission was basically that. First tried to play me and a full-time pro against each other in the hopes for one to undercut the other, then go with the $50 friend option. Yeah, well. Yeah. Yep, thanks for coming in, Colin. Take care, buddy. Anyway, it's 7 minutes past 10, folks. You made me go 10 minutes over. I need to go for a great big wee. So, minimal work done this evening, but then that's normal. It's all your fault. You distract me and you stop me doing work. It's you there. Not you. The you. That one. Not you, but not that one. That one. It's your fault. But yes, we'll call it there. I don't know what I'll do the next live stream. This weekend, I've obviously got Warhammer Sunday on Sunday. Now, I finished the Shouty Space Horse. That's been finished. It's just built. So what I'm going to do is, just going forward for the time being, with Warhammer Sunday, what I'm going to do is, I'm actually not going to be working on my Xeon army. I'm going to put that to one side, that whole idea, just for a bit. And what I'm actually going to do is try and catch up with the Warhammer Conquest. Not painting them, just building the models. Because the Warhammer Conquest stuff, I'm not going to be showing how to build the model. Don't need to show you how to glue two things together. But I will be showing you how to paint them. So what I'm going to start doing is, I've got a big load of pile of monthly issues building up. I want to get them built and in the travelling crates just out of the way, so that when it comes to filming them, I can just get them out and paint them. So I'm going to start using the Warhammer Sunday time to start building up my Warhammer Conquest forces, at least get the models built and primed and ready. So we'll probably do a start on that on Sunday. Simon Reynolds says, I've told you guys before I had a 50 miniature 2,000 point Iron Jaws army a few years back, and that was a several $1,000 commission. A $4,000 commission. A £4,000 commission even. Wow. Yeah, not cheap. Yeah, I don't think I'm at the level yet where I can charge big, massive bucks for anything Warhammer based. I can charge something a little bit decent, maybe, that gives me a little bit of income. But I wouldn't like to put a price on it now. But yeah, I'm not Simon's level. Yeah, Simon ain't going to be selling you something that's like 100 quid. Because, yeah, I think if Simon was selling something that's 100 quid, that would be a primed model. He'd have built it and primed it and left the rest to you. Anyway, yes, so on Sunday we'll crack on with whatever the next issue that I haven't built yet for the Warhammer Conquest. So there might be just a lot of building Space Marines, but it doesn't really matter. We're just hanging out. Don't forget, of course, Chris at Gross Models, his Sunday live show will be after mine, 8 PM on Sunday. I don't think I'm going to do one of these streams tomorrow. I want a day off tomorrow. Saturday's going to be a rest day for me. And then hopefully I do need to crack on and get the rest of this stand up so we can start with the building and the filming. Let's have a look. So, yeah, Retro Rabbit says, I can't get my own stuff done, let alone someone else's. Sprue says, ask George to send me his Falcon, I'll build it for him. Yeah. Fluffy Gut says, I did turn up late and make you run over by 10 minutes. It's totally your fault. I'm pointing, look, there's the finger of pointiness. Totally your fault. Anyway, right, let's call it there. So I shall say, folks, thank you very much for watching tonight. Thank you for your company. I'll do more of these probably next week at some point. Possibly. I might just crack on with it then. But thank you very much for watching. The next one we do, if I do another one of these, it'll be a Patreon only one. So we'll do the one and then the other. So patrons, then non-patrons, backwards and forwards. But until next time, I shall see you on Sunday, if not before. I may have assuming the package turns up tomorrow, it may well do. I'll do a mystery package times, but maybe. Ciao Fox, go check out the tats. I shall do. Yes, thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Go make something awesome. I was going to say that, but you don't really make Guthorm. It's not made. Guthorm just is. Go make something awesome. Go be awesome. You there. You. And until next time, I will say, adios amoebas. I'm trying to get my words out. I can't think and do buttons at the same time. Oh, adios amoebas. Also, Batman.